Submitted for your approval, Miss Elena Vance, a woman of impeccable civic virtue, a builder of community gardens, a signer of petitions, a darker of check boxes on donation forms. She has just moved to the city of San Solano, looking for a fresh start and a new project. She is about to discover that while charity may begin at home, it sometimes ends in a dimension not of sight or sound, but of shadow. You unlock this app with the key of curiosity. Beyond it is another dimension, a dimension not of pixels and code, but of mind. You are scrolling through a middle ground between light and shadow, between the algorithms we trust and the superstitions we fear. It is a journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. Your next stop is a collection of curiosities, ironies, and tales from the edge of reality. They are submitted for your approval. San Solano was a city of hard angles and long nights. Elena Vance saw it as a canvas. She didn't just walk the streets, she surveyed them. It was on the corner of 4th and Main, under the flickering yellow of a dying street lamp, that she found her masterpiece. His name was Elias. He was a collection of rags and whiskers, a man whom society had not just forgotten, but actively erased. But Elena saw potential. She saw a rehabilitation project. Evidence, Elena's diary, entry number 4. I found him today. He's perfect. Broken, but the foundation is there. I got him a sandwich and he cried. It feels good to be the one who acts. Everyone else just walks by, but I stopped. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix him. And fix him she did. With the efficiency of a structural engineer, Elena dismantled Elias's despair. She secured him a bed at the shelter. She filed his paperwork. She bought him a suit for interviews. She was the architect of his salvation, and she made sure the foundation bore her name. But architecture requires maintenance. And on a rainy Tuesday in November, the maintenance became inconvenient. It was 11:42 p.m. Elena was warm. The sheets were high thread count, the tea was chamomile, and the world outside was wet and cold. The phone rang. It was the shelter. Elias had been turned away due to overcrowding. He was back on 4th and Main. He was asking for her. Recount police statement, November 14th. I was so tired, officer. I had done so much already. I thought, he can survive one night. I stared at the phone until it stopped ringing. I just wanted one night where I didn't have to be the savior. Is that a crime? It is not a crime in the penal code of San Solano, Miss Vance. That night, 3 men found Elias. They didn't see a rehabilitation project. They saw a target, a scuffle, a flash of gunpowder, a life extinguished for the contents of pockets that were already empty. Elias died alone on the wet pavement, looking at a phone booth, waiting for an answer that never came. Elena found out the next morning. She cried, of course. She organized the memorial. She spoke of tragedy and systemic failure. But as she left the funeral, the sun hit her back, and she noticed something peculiar about her shadow. The resume of Miss Elena Vance. Current status, unstable. Former occupation, savior of the downtrodden. Future occupation, commodity. We often believe that guilt is a private ghost, a specter that haunts only the corridors of our own minds. But in the high-stakes acquisition of human souls, guilt is merely leverage. Ms. Vance believes she is being haunted by the dead. She is about to learn that the dead are often just the deadly, waiting for their quarterly bonus. Phase 1, the gaslight. The shadow did not leave. It grew density. It acquired mass. First, it was just a silhouette on the pavement. Then, it was a reflection in a store window. A man in a ragged coat standing just behind her left shoulder. When she turned, there was only air. Then came the physical manifestations. A distinct smell of wet wool in her sealed apartment. A phone ringing at 3 a.m., with only the sound of a raspy, wet cough on the other end. Elena began to fray. Exhibit A, Dr. Eris Thorne, clinical psychiatrist. It is a textbook manifestation of survivor's guilt, Elena. Your mind is projecting the object of your neglect into your environment to punish you. Elias is dead. The police report is filed. The shadow is you. The reality? Elena wanted to believe him. She took the pills. She slept with the lights on. But then she saw the receipt. Search icon phase 2. The connection. It was a mistake. A slip of the mask. Elena found it in the pocket of the coat she had bought for Elias. The coat the police returned to her because he had no next of kin. Inside the lining, sewn shut, was not a captivating memento of a homeless drifter, but a dry cleaning tag. Imperial Valley Service. Account A. Blackwood. Elena pulled the thread. She researched A. Blackwood. He wasn't a ghost. He was a ghost director. Arthur Blackwood, CEO of Omnicorp, philanthropist, recluse. She drove to the Blackwood estate, a sprawling Gothic compound in the hills, shielded by iron gates and silence. She didn't go to the police. Who would believe that the city's favorite corpse was actually its wealthiest titan? She climbed the fence. She crept to the library window. And there, sitting by a roaring fire, swirling a snifter of brandy, was Elias, clean-shaven, tuxedo. But the eyes were the same. He looked up. He looked directly at the window. He didn't jump. He didn't scream. He raised his glass. Church icon phase 3, the sacrifice. The capture was elegant. No struggle. Just two large men in suits who escorted her into the library, as if she were an expected guest. Elias, she whispered. Arthur, he corrected, his voice smooth as oil. Elias was a role, Elena, a method-acting exercise. My associates, they require us to understand the texture of despair before we can transcend it. He poured her a drink. She didn't take it. You're dead, she said. I am reborn, he smiled. And so are you. He explained it with the casual tone of a quarterly earnings call. The cult of the Ebon Ledger. A society of the ultra-wealthy who didn't worship money, but the entity that gave money its power. They traded lives for longevity. I was supposed to die that night, Arthur admitted. A staged robbery, a shedding of the skin. You were the witness, Elena. You were the key. The plan was to traumatize you, to break your spirit so fully that you would be a pliable vessel for the offering. He stepped closer. The firelight cast his shadow long against the wall. The same shadow that had followed her for weeks. But the board rejected you. They said your guilt wasn't ripe enough. They told me to move on, to find a new project. He touched her cheek. His hand was ice cold. But I'm a businessman, Elena. I don't like wasted assets. And I realized I don't want to give you to the board. I want to keep you for myself, my personal sacrifice, my ticket to the Demon Lord's private equity. Ms. Elena Vance. A woman who ignored a call for help, only to find that the caller was calling collect, and the price was her soul. Arthur Blackwood believes he has cheated the system. He believes that by privatizing the apocalypse, he can negotiate his own immortality. But in the contract law of the cosmos, there is always a fine print. They say every man has his price, and every woman has her breaking point. Tonight, they both meet the auditor. Their fate is sealed, signed, and delivered. Submitted for your approval.